Do you have a license? Do you have a license? Do you have the proper documents? Got a transport permit? No? If not, have the passenger get out. We're reporting you. Hey, he hit someone. He hit someone. Get that passenger out of the car. Yeah, they can only take a taxi. Don't stop. Let's block his car in. Got the paperwork? No? Then stop the car. Miss, this ride's not going anywhere. You can't go anywhere. Seriously. Come on, let's move his car out of the way. Move it, move it. A recent showdown between traditional taxi drivers and ride-hailing platforms in Shenyang, Shaanxi Province has drawn national attention. Since June 21st, local taxi drivers have been seen intercepting and surrounding rideshare cars at various locations throughout the city. These drivers actively block rideshare vehicles from picking up passengers, at times using rows of taxis to sandwich them in and force them to stop, demanding that passengers exit the vehicle on the spot. On June 22nd, tensions boiled over. Frustrated rideshare drivers launched a counter-protest at Shenyang North Railway Station. Whenever they saw a passenger board a taxi, they shouted in unison, "Make sure to ask for a receipt," and "Watch out for taxi scams." The demonstration quickly escalated into a direct confrontation with taxi drivers, right in front of police vehicles, causing chaos at the scene. One now viral video showed someone placing a small boat on the hood of a rideshare car to block it, a bizarre and theatrical moment that quickly spread on social media. Social media users dubbed the scene Shenyang's Mad Max moment. Hashtags like Xianyang taxis block rideshare and rideshare drivers fight back began trending immediately, garnering tens of thousands of shares and likes. Public opinion overwhelmingly backed the rideshare drivers. Many online commenters criticized the taxi drivers for using outdated, heavy-handed tactics to protect their turf, with some saying the era of bullying is over. Can someone get a grip on these Xianyang taxis? A couple of days ago, I needed a ride from Shenyang North Station to the airport. The cabbie quoted me 60 yuan for one person. 60? Why not just hold me up? It's barely 10 kilometers, and they're hitting me with 60 yuan. 3 yuan a kilometer. Sound fair to you? If you're gonna scam someone, at least pick a tourist who doesn't know better. Couldn't they hear I'm a local from my accent? Good thing I wasn't pressed for time. I booked a rideshare instead. Guess what? Just 17 yuan. Gotta hand it to those rideshare apps sometimes. Out-of-towners might not know the local taxi game, but a quick online check saves you from getting fleeced. So who's gonna do something about these Xianyang taxis? One user commented, "It's really hard to make money this year. Even gangsters have ended up driving taxis." Here's my advice, just two things. First, whether you got a license or not, once you drop someone off in Shenyang, try not to pick up new passengers there. It counts as operating outside your zone, with or without a permit. Second, if you run into these thugs on the road, don't fight them. Play it safe. It's not worth the risk if something goes wrong. And look, I'm not saying all Shenyang taxi drivers are bad. Most are decent folks. But the ones blocking cars and intimidating drivers, those are the same guys who overcharge, take detours, and force passengers to share rides. That's gangster behavior, really. These people are the reason the taxi industry in Shenyang has such a bad name. Why don't people want to take taxis anymore? This is why. Come on. It's already 2025. Not the wild old days when you could just act like a roadside bandit. The Shenyang conflict has temporarily eased. On the evening of June 23rd, traffic police designated separate pickup and drop-off zones for taxis and rideshare vehicles near Shenyang North Railway Station to prevent blockades. That night, urban management posted notices at the station in key areas, banning group disruptions. On the afternoon of June 24th, the Taxi Association and ride-hailing platform representatives signed a Mutual Non-Interference Civil Operations Agreement with penalties for violators. Shenyang is not alone. This spring, over 800 taxis in Daqing, Heilongjiang staged a strike and blocked rideshare vehicles. According to the Collective Protest Action Report, over 30 taxis versus rideshare confrontations occurred across China in 2025, with a trend spreading. Years earlier, similar tensions flared in Dalian, Changsha, and Hangzhou, with reports of taxi drivers blocking rideshare cars, impounding vehicles, and forcing passengers to switch rides. Across cities, the script remains the same, escalating anger with no effective resolution. The taxi drivers' anger has roots. The pressure begins with licensing. Limited taxi licenses require lotteries, auctions, or costly transfers via franchise fees, often costing hundreds of thousands or millions of yuan. Drivers start with massive loans for vehicles and licenses, often borrowing from intermediaries at 20% to 30% annual interest rates. Monthly repayments drain cash flow and mental resilience over time. After licensing, revenue sharing is another burden. Many taxis operate under companies or cooperatives, which takes 10 to 20% of income for dispatch and maintenance services. Fixed daily costs like rent or deposits add pressure. Falling short of revenue targets means covering deficits, facing fines, or losing next-day operations, thinning every fare and making each shift precarious, with the recovery elusive. Market shifts have crushed traditional taxis. With livelihoods at stake, some drivers target equally struggling rideshare drivers. Yet while taxi drivers blame ride-hailing for stealing their livelihoods, rideshare drivers are equally distressed. A February 2025 Guangzhou report showed rideshare drivers working daily struggle to earn 10,000 yuan monthly, about $1,400. Daily vehicle revenue fell 350 yuan, half from peak years. In Chengdu, daily earnings dropped below 300 yuan, with authorities warning newcomers to enter cautiously. Shrinking platform subsidies, rising fuel electricity costs, and grueling algorithms drain drivers' efforts, with 25% to 30% commissions and per kilometer pay below 1 yuan. The more they drive, the more they lose.
现在的整个网约车行业
The entire rideshare industry is a mess right now. If there's no major reform, over 10 million rideshare drivers are just going to end up being exploited by capital. Everything's being twisted. You see, once a driver joins a platform and starts taking orders, every part of the process is just one trap after another set by capital. They keep pushing you to spend more and more of your own money. Before you even officially join, when you've just started out, the platform showers you with perks, newbie protection, non-stop orders, all kinds of bonuses. They'll even tilt the system to give you the big, high-paying rides. Why? To get you to either lease or buy a car. And once you do, you're locked in, with monthly payments to make. Then you slowly realize the platform's cut isn't just 30% like they say. Nope, orders get passed from one platform to another. This one takes 30%, then the next one takes another 30%. By the time it reaches you, you're left with scraps. If you hustle and drive hard for 10 hours straight, maybe you'll cover the cost of running your car that day. It's only the time you put in beyond those 10 hours when you might start seeing any real profit. Some rideshare drivers, hit by plummeting earnings, consider switching to traditional taxis, only to find franchise fees still exorbitant. Meanwhile, taxi drivers face unchanged management fees despite shrinking business. The Shenyang street clash, outwardly a taxi versus rideshare driver conflict, reflects desperate resistance by grassroots workers under survival pressure. Taxi drivers lament that rideshare services have gutted their businesses, slashing incomes to barely cover basic living costs. This zero-sum strife breeds chaos, harming both sides and degrading passengers' travel experience. Sociologists point out that these cases reveal shared underlying issues. First, China's rapid economic growth, marked by unequal resource distribution and regulatory gaps, forces frontline workers to compete for dwindling shares of resources. The Shenyang clash was sparked by unequal market competition. Taxis face rigid franchise fee regulations, while ride-sharing services, with flexible operations and low fares, rapidly seize market share. The core issue isn't rideshare drivers stealing customers, but regulators fail to establish fair competition rules. Ironically, rideshare platforms are mired in a price war, subsidizing low fares to attract users, which slashes driver earnings. This lose-lose outcome stems directly from absent regulations. Second, short-sighted local government policies worsen market disorder. Many cities treat taxi licenses as scarce resources, auctioning them for revenue while ignoring drivers' struggles. Though ride-sharing is legalized, lagging regulations create market chaos. A 2023 China Newsweek report noted some cities capped rideshare dynamic pricing, but left the taxi industry's franchise fee system unreformed. Moreover, most grassroots workers lack social protections and a voice. Unable to pursue formal complaints or union negotiations when harmed, they resort to forming alliances or street protests to draw attention. Experts argue the Xianyang conflict reflects a pervasive mutual harm pattern in China's economy. In a state-dominated system, resource allocation is heavily swayed by administrative power. Local governments, prioritizing short-term giants, protect traditional industries while neglecting fair market competition. As economist Zhang Weiying noted, administrative power often trumps market rules in China's economy, leading to frequent bad money driving out good money scenarios. More alarmingly, this mutual harm is spreading to other sectors. A 2024 Economic Observer report highlighted that cutthroat competition in the delivery industry has driven couriers' income down, with some earning below 5,000 yuan monthly. This mirrors Shenyang's conflict. Absent clear rules, workers are forced into a race to the bottom, undercutting each other to survive. This escalating conflict among grassroots workers is closely tied to China's broader economic climate in 2025. Official data shows China's economy slightly exceeding expectations in the first half of 2025, but is slowing. Q2 GDP grew 5.2% year-on-year, down from 5.4% in Q1, with quarter-on-quarter growth slipping from 1.2% to 1.1%. Despite robust 6.8% industrial output growth, consumer spending lagged, with retail sales up only 4.8% and showing monthly decline. For taxi and ride-hailing drivers reliant on passenger volume, shrinking demand reduces the share of the pie, intensifying competition. Notably, National Bureau of Statistics data often carries optimistic inflation, so the true economic picture may be bleaker. High unemployment and deflationary pressures are making workers more cautious. June CPI rose just 0.1% year-on-year, while factory gate prices fell for 33 consecutive months, signaling severe industrial deflation. Official data shows youth unemployment hit a record 14.5%. Many middle-aged unemployed workers, burdened by mortgages, school district homes, and education costs, are entering the low-barrier ride-hailing industry, competing for scarce passengers. When income falls short, anxiety and insecurity surge. Rather than targeting platforms or the economy, frustration is directed at the nearest rival, fellow drivers. Road blockades and protests become the quickest outlets for pent-up anger. Deep-rooted credit and real estate issues also impact drivers. First-half real estate investment dropped 11.2%, straining local government finances and weakening home buying demand, which drags down related jobs and consumption. Some drivers take loans to buy vehicles for platforms, bearing heavy debt and operating costs, yet cannot rely on a consumer recovery for more rides. With higher idle rates and time costs, any market share loss can push them into financial distress. Ironically, while common prosperity is loudly proclaimed, the streets witness poor versus poor clashes. Lower-tier service workers, unable to confront the system, target peers, the only reachable outlet. Despite grand urban promises, workers see no tangible benefits, only rising living costs. This policy above, no support below contradiction fuels frustration redirected at fellow drivers. Taxi drivers thus turn their anger at the system and platforms into confrontations with ride-hailing counterparts.